Here we go. Get ready. I've been a lot of things in my life. I've been a bank robber, a prisoner, but being a shaman is my calling. Ayahuasca is a Schedule 1 narcotic, the same as heroin and meth. I don't think meth. But it's not a drug, it's a medicine. And in my church, it's a sacrament. We can do in 2 days what conventional therapy takes years to do, but only if you are willing to step into the pain.
Hey guys, recently I was, I guess you'd say, reintroduced to this show. Derek Lambert, or Big D as you can call me. I'm here 3.5 years clean off all substances. But you're gonna see something interesting with this show. Me and Ashton are gonna talk about, because I want you to understand, I'm not saying this will work for everybody, but I have a hard time disbelieving what this man is saying in this show. I hope you guys like this. It's something to look into. I know that a lot of research has been done on psychedelics. I'm not here to encourage or discourage either way, but I do, from my personal experiences with psychedelics in the past, have had, I guess you'd say, subconscious tapping into, or deeper, I was able to dig deeper inside to try and, I guess, reach things or see things in a new way. Tell me what you guys think. I'm here at the new house in Washington State, and I hope you guys like this, but like I said, you may not have the same experience as this guy with these types of substances. I don't know if this is something a shaman should do with you or how it should be done exactly, but I suspect someone needs to encourage you and guide you in these kind of processes. Let me know what you think down in the comments section. However, I don't know, I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I kind of do believe that it's true. Of course, it takes long-term help. If you're really gonna stick with recovery and stay clean, you gotta have a new commitment in life and you gotta drive in that direction and keep going. But it could help, I don't know, we'll see. What's good, Big D here?
Big Ash Cash. What's happening?
What's good, girl? Look, check it out. I came over here, you invited me to your home. This is not a fake background, by the way. I know it looks beautiful, right? That's legit, okay? That's a
Super
mountain.
blessed.
Bass Lake, California, near, I call it Yosemite, but...
Yeah, Yosemite National Park. It's in Northern California. It's the National Park of California, so it's about 30 minutes up. So, yeah.
We're chilling on his couch last night, him, his mom, me, the wife, and we watched a show of Kentucky Ayahuasca. You guys, that show is badass. I'm serious.
It's on Viceland.
I've had my fair share of psychedelics and haven't shared a lot of that to this channel. I know that Ashton's experienced them as well. We did one video, a mushroom experience, and that was it. And like, I didn't even really get to go into it much, but I do want to give you guys my opinion on what I saw with this show. And it might be a little different than what you would think or expect, being that, you know, I am an advocate for recovery, and obviously I want to help people understand that, listen, it's possible, it can be done. And, you know, whatever means it takes to get someone's life back, that's like my goal, you know. It's always been my goal.
Exactly.
However, psychedelics are an interesting, I guess you say, an area of testing that's going on right now. And they're testing it on people who are clinically depressed and finding out that they're having a lot of positive results. Like, the statistics are very high. So I watched this show, and this guy is... Dude, he's so raw. I mean, like, if he was trying to monetize a video on YouTube, he'd never, ever be able to monetize shit. He is so straight up, goes into his bank robbery story, like, and he gets a job across from, after he gets out of prison all this time, gets a job across from the bank that he robbed. Almost like a temptation, like...
Right. Right. And he's like...
It's so humiliating. Washing these dishes and seeing that the armored truck's coming up. You know what's stopping me from making 280 grand that day? It's just a glass window and 2 females.
Talk about temptations.
Especially when he closes that whole topic at the beginning of that chapter with and that was my 18th bank robbery. And it's like, God, 18th?
And he talked about how he did it and having a getaway car and looking at satellites and making sure that the freeways were close by, and it was close to another county. So if the county police were following him, they'd have to reach out to another police, police force in another county. And he had it all planned out, so he hit those banks, and he was very smart for
he's
a criminal.
Very intelligent guy. And what gets me about this show, before we get into the ayahuasca, because we're going to give you our opinion about the ayahuasca and our thoughts on this, it's just an opinion, okay? But I think it's important that we talk about this because this guy comes out of prison. He starts doing ayahuasca ceremonies with people. I think he himself had one, which is what made him aware of his situation. And so he's doing this illegal underground, and he's saying it on TV. This guy's crazy. I want to meet this guy one day, to be honest with you. He sounds cool as hell, but he's doing these ayahuasca ceremonies trying to help people better their lives, and he calls it meeting Mother Aya, the mother goddess in this other realm from the experience. But nonetheless, supposedly she'll heal and help with healing properties, analyze what's going on. We're going to talk about that. I keep going there, but I really, really do want to mention a few things. He says how in the state of Kentucky there was a religious situation. I don't know all the ins and outs of it. All I know is that it gave the religious people the right to practice what they want without the government telling them what they can and cannot do pertaining to the religious rights. And he found a loophole because he started a church. This Ayahuasca Church, if you will, where it's a spiritual church, Indian church, where they practice these ceremonies using ayahuasca. Crazy. So he ends up finding a loophole, creates a church, finds that his sacrament to the church is the ayahuasca. And so what can the state do? I mean, that's his religious right.
It's the separation of church and state.
Right.
So anything that the religion do, as long as it's not harmful to people, I think they have some type of laws kind of that kind of, but anything that the church wants to do as a group, they're able to do and commune. So
that's what gets me too, because he clearly says in the show that ayahuasca is a class 1. Now, do I think it should be a class 1? No, because I don't see people personally. I mean, you got to find a rare person who's going to want to abuse something like this because it's not that kind of drug. However, or plant, if you don't like the word drug for this, for it. However, I mean, can you as a church create a church and make your sacrament methamphetamine, and everybody smokes meth in this church? Then the state can't get involved? I think there's certain lines that you can that are drawn, because from what I heard when they did the experiment on DMT on people in the 80s, and they were injecting them like mainlining pure DMT into their intravenous, into their system, there were there's Indian ceremonial churches that the United States had allowed because they're Indian. It's not just a religion, it's also heritage that they practice these rituals with these psychedelics such as ayahuasca. That is why it's not just a church, it's an Indian church. Mm-hmm. Like he went down the route of that, and that's why I think he's able to do what he's doing. Now, I think we could talk about why. Why is that a sacrament? What's so special about ayahuasca? And
right.
What the hell did you see on that show, dude? That seemed to be some real shit.
So what he said is when you take the ayahuasca, it's essentially a portal to your subconscious. And basically what that means to me, I've never done it, but what that means to me is you're going into seeing yourself, because we operate in a conscious state of mind. When you dream, you're dreaming in your subconscious. It's not real, it's not physical, but you're actually seeing things. I believe it's kind of like a dream state while being conscious. Right. So basically what he says in it is that when you're taking the ayahuasca and then you're going into this portal to your subconscious, he says that you meet a spirit goddess, and this goddess is called Mother Aya. And he says this, I've seen so many accounts of this. Pretty much everybody who's taken the ayahuasca mentions that they see this spirit. And she talks to you. And it's not in the way that you think, it's not her like literally saying words, but you know what she means. And so what she does is she goes back, and it's basically, he says, this isn't a drug, even though in the United States it's classified as a Schedule 1 narcotic, same as heroin, meth. But he says it's not a drug, it's a medicine, and this is his sacrament.
Yeah, dude, he blew the lid off. I mean, like, I was shocked because when you know YouTube guidelines, for example, and how they operate and what you can and cannot promote and say without causing issues and controversy, this guy blew the lid off that. He said, screw that, screw that, screw that. He said, this is a class 1 drug. This is my sacrament. Here I found a loophole in the religious system to be able to practice these things instead of doing it underground. And here he has people who are testimonially saying this really changed their lives. And then the follow-up. See, I don't know the long-term effects of how long someone's life is on track, but they had a return guy who came back. So I tend to think what happens when you take it, which I've never experienced this is what I've observed. I have experienced psychedelics that made me see things like you normally wouldn't see about yourself. It opened up this portal, this eye, to be able to see yourself and see things for what they are in a way that isn't, I guess you could work through them better. You're kind of reliving them sometimes.
Absolutely.
And these people work through these things on this show with guidance. So, like, it's super, super dangerous to try and do this shit on your own.
Yeah.
I mean, too much and you can have a real bad situation. Too little and it may not work. So, like, that guidance is so important. Dude, it costs, what, $700 to go on the show or something? To be able to...
He says what we do in 2 days, normal conventional therapy takes years to do.
Yeah. So you're asking me, suppose, Derek, you're guru on recovery. So many people say that crap and they don't get it. I just know what worked for me. I can't say what will work for you, but to act like I don't think that psychedelics or an ayahuasca experience with someone who can guide you and work you through your problems, to say that I don't think that would be a good idea, I'd be wrong. I'd even go so far as to say they have a treatment program called ibogaine or ibogaine.
Yeah.
And it's not legal here. Once again, it's another psychedelic, substance. And you got to go down to Mexico or other countries to experience this, or you order it. See, that's where people start crossing lines. They start ordering stuff, and then bad experiences happen because you can die from ibogaine, from what I researched. If you're not doing this under medical supervision and you're not doing it properly, you could be allergic, whatever. There's so many things that can happen. Guys like Psych Substance, who has an entire YouTube channel surrounding his experience with psychedelics and whatnot. And I'm sure there's some positive experiences that come from this. I'm not discrediting that. However, it's extremely dangerous. And I would definitely recommend being guided. But dude, watching that show made me feel like, even I could go on that and probably experience something that'll take me to the next level.
Right.
That would make me, I guess you'd say, progress in my own experience in my recovery.
I guess it's the intention you're taking it for.
Right.
You're not taking it, you're not looking to get high.
Right.
I mean, this isn't good. You're not going to want to do this every day.
No.
You're like this, it really seems to me that it is a healing medicine.
Mm-hmm.
And what they said is that, so you're pretty much going into the spiritual realm, essentially. And you're seeing things from your subconscious. And we all have a ton of, emotional pain, voids that we want to fill, but we're never conscious of what they are. Like, we can't get to the root of the situation. The drugs are the symptom, right?
Right.
The drugs are the symptom, but we can't get to the root cause, Yep. And so that's the way I'm seeing it. And so what he says is when she shows you, because she's going to show you what the root cause of it, he says it can be painful. And it will be painful. He says you could laugh, you could cry, you could do both at the same time. And then he says it's going to show you the good, the
you
bad,
might piss
the ugly,
and shit yourself
at the same damn time.
Yep.
But he says that is a physical manifestation of a spiritual, emotional release.
Yeah.
So that's what I think when people say after they take it and after they've gone through this
purge. If you will.
The purge is that they feel like the chains have been broken. And you could see it literally in their face.
Yeah,
you could see it.
It's unbelievable, man. I don't know what to make of it other than I think this is a possible avenue. Many people come to me and they go, well, what do you think works to help you get clean? I did a 12-step method and it worked for me. But Derek is not going to stand here and act like that's the only thing that works, okay? That's for sure, because I'm going to tell you from the horse's mouth, there are many methods. I know there are many ways to achieve that and to be clean and be happy without needing the substance. This just worked for me. You know how you mentioned it's your intent? Well, you know, people who take methadone, Suboxone, Kratom, we're not down talking it, man. We just got to tell you our experiences. So you might think off our Kratom video that we did, oh, they're bashing Kratom. No, we're telling you the dangers of a situation when you abused it. Your intentions were not, I am literally trying to only take this just so I can get clean off of the opioids and strictly try to get my life together where I can eventually get off the Kratom.
I can tell you what my intent was.
To get high.
My intent was to keep me from withdrawals until I used again. Like that was my intent.
Man.
You know? But it can, I'm not saying it can't be used. Like if my intent was I'm gonna use this until I don't have withdrawals and just wean myself off, I'm sure you could do that.
Right.
But I couldn't, you know. That wasn't my intent, you know. So
well, let's go ahead and break the news to them, bro.
Yes.
We're gonna break the news to them.
Break the news.
You were invited to be on Kentucky Ayahuasca.
Right.
Okay, you had applied and they had approved you.
Right.
Let's talk about that. What are you gonna do, man?
Well,
you think you're gonna go for it?
Yeah.
You're a little nervous about it, I'm sure, but
in the next couple of months, because I feel like there's, you know, I do have the anxiety, depression. I feel like the mental health thing from my experience gets thrown around too much. You know, I don't want to believe I have a condition, you know, like, of course, with the addiction. I don't want to believe I have a disease that I can't control. Like, nothing feels worse than being powerless, you know? But yeah, so I want to get to the root causes because I can think of some things, but even though I could think of them consciously, it's like they say, you can't think yourself out of something.
Right.
Like, you have to experience it.
Yep.
And I think if I could experience it with the eyes I have now, going back to those situations that I need to revisit, that caused some type of emotional disturbance inside of me, that created a void that I feel like I always need to fix with drugs, and get those chains broken, metaphorically, then, you know, then I think it could be a really good thing. I'm not going with the intent to get high. I'm going with the intent to heal myself.
I don't know.
You know?
I personally don't get how you can do it to get high. But
I don't think it's a fun experience to get high.
Didn't your mom say something about, like, she knew people who went down there and was saying that, like, nobody guided them through this experience?
Down in Peru.
Okay, so down in Peru they were doing ayahuasca.
Big resort
right.
Of just everybody intense and
everybody's taking it, everybody's tripping, seeing crap, going through this hallucinogenic experience, which you don't do every day. They don't do it every day, but nonetheless, they weren't doing it with a guidance. And having someone like him who's showing you, dude, the guy's real, man.
Very personal, yeah.
The guy was robbing banks, had been in prison. You could tell he'd been on drugs. He's done a lot of crazy shit, and he's walking you through, and he knows. Man, just watch the show. Yeah, dude's like real as you can get.
The super southern accent.
For real. You have to watch the show if you haven't. It's only got one season. They need more. I thought this is such a killer.
Maybe I'll be on season 2.
You might. Dude, if he's on season 2, I'm so going to freak out.
Yeah.
But, dude, that's... Kentucky Ayahuasca's got my attention right now. I'm going to watch the rest of these episodes come soon. Mm-hmm. It's intense, man. You get to see people, and they're laying it out there. And I believe this is a real show with real people doing this for real.
Absolutely.
I don't call bullshit on this. I think that's a real deal. I'm not recommending anybody do anything, okay? I'm just telling you there are other alternate routes, and you have to make a decision yourself on whether or not you want to, you know, if you're like me, if you want to stop living in the bullshit and you want to get out and you want to be happy, there are routes, there are methods. And dude, compared to the rehabs that I've been seeing and the stuff that I have been hearing, $700, dude, is like, whoa.
Well,
you know.
And then let's talk about the statistics of rehab.
Okay, yeah.
You know? And we don't know the statistics of ayahuasca, but from what I've seen, it looks like, you know, it could make some real permanent. There was a guy there 8 years off. You know, just still dealing with some anxiety and depression, but he wasn't using, you know.
Yeah.
And they on the show, they require you to be at least a week
off opioids.
Yeah.
In period, and then at least a day off alcohol if you're an alcoholic. Like, but I don't know the ins and outs, all the details there. But dude, I'm telling you, check it out. It's something to look into. Look at the show. I don't hold an opinion, you know, on outside issues like that. And I'll tell you, my personal opinion is, I think this shit's real, man. I think people really are getting a change, but I also think there's a follow-up required. You have to maintain what you have. You're not going to permanently for the rest of your life just boom, unless you maintain that and continue on a path. So he says it in the show too. It's like, this is a path, and when you return and the anxiety tries to come back, you now know what to do.
Right.
You know how to overcome. You know what to visit in your mind. You know what to do. There's actions to put in place. So guys, check the show out. This is me and Ashton, Ash the Cash, at the spot with Mott, Big D, telling you Kentucky ayahuasca and our thoughts on ayahuasca right now. So more to come, man. We're just trying to keep it real with you guys. Hope you guys like this. Share, subscribe, check us out. You got to get a channel going soon.
Yeah. What do you guys think?
Let us know what you think. If you watched this far, tell us if you want Ashton to get a channel going and start doing videos. So I love you guys.
We'll see you.
Peace.
Peace.